You've landed inside the bubble with Harli G, a podcast for the superwoman. I am a mother, wife, and ambitious career woman who realized one day that part of me was unfulfilled. I launched this platform to help other women discover and walk in their ultimate purpose through shared stories of trials, fear, dreams, courage, grief, and triumph. No matter who you are or where you're from, there's purpose in your story. This episode is brought to you by Farmers Insurance. When was the last time you reviewed your insurance policy? So it's been a while, huh? Well, no worries. My friends at the Austin Brummett Agency would love to hear from you and provide you with some amazing rates. Give them a call at 678-402-8262 or email them at abrummett@farmersagent.com. Insiders, Inside the Bubble with Harli G is now sponsored by BetterHelp. As a partner of this episode, listeners can access the BetterHelp link located in the show notes to receive 10% off your first month of therapy with BetterHelp and get matched with a therapist who will listen and help. Go to BetterHelp, that is betterhelp.com/inside-the-bubble, the link to get started. Thinking about buying a car but dreading the process? Enter Car Official, where we're changing the game. At Car Official, we believe car buying should be transparent, informative, and yes, even enjoyable. Our experts are here to guide you, provide you clear information and honest advice. No jargon, no pressure, just a helping hand every step of the way. Whether it's understanding financing options, getting clarity on fees, or simply finding the perfect car for your needs, we've got you covered. Join the Car Official family and experience a new era of car buying, where trust, knowledge, and customer care drive everything we do. Car Official Auto Sales, empowering your journey one car at a time. Visit us today and see the difference for yourself at 770-627-4296 or on our website at www.carofficial.net. Welcome. I am Harli G, host of Inside the Bubble with Harli G, a podcast for the superwoman. Thank you for tuning in. The purpose of the Purpose in Entrepreneur series is to inspire women who have a burning desire to do their own thing, but don't know where to start. Women who are fully committed to their 9-to-5, but can't seem to find time to pursue their purpose outside of work. And women who struggle with trying to balance life demands, spouse, partner, children, extended family, friends, community involvement, while running a business and are experiencing the feeling of guilt because of not committing an equal amount of time to all of it. And today I have two very special guests. One, I'm not gonna cry in this segment. One is Michelle White, and Michelle, we've had a story. We already know, like we have a story. So I explain why Michelle is so special. And two, I have my very own, I share her with somebody else, but I have my very own sister, Dr. Rhode Gabrielle Mesidor. So welcome, ladies, to the
Thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh, it's such an honor. It is such an honor. And like I said, I'm gonna try not to be emotional because there's so much in this space right now that has impacted me and why the reason I am here today. And that's Michelle, and that I'm gonna call you Gabby. I'm not gonna call you Dr. Rhode. I've earned the right.
My degree.
I have earned the right, okay, to call you Gabby. All right. I respect the degree, though.
It actually sounds weird if you call me Rhodes. So
me,
yeah.
yes, it would. I fully respect the degree, the blood, sweat, tears, and the prayers, and the baby Jesuses that came through for that degree to come. So I respect it. But first, I want to get started with Michelle, and we have a little story that we want to put out there. So Michelle has had an amazing gift, and that's the gift of photography. Michelle and I worked, we go back a long way. Yeah. Michelle and I worked together at Turner Broadcasting. Wow. Yes, that was like 2000, like a long time ago.
In the 2000s.
We were babies, okay? And we actually got laid off at the same time. We worked in the same department and got laid off. And then, I'm not sure, Michelle, what the time frame of when you got started in photography before we got laid off?
So I have been in photography. I started back in 2006.
Okay. Yeah. So it was a while before we got laid off.
Yeah.
So you had already been dipping and dabbing into it or whatever. And correct me if I'm wrong, but it was more of a side hustle then.
Yeah, it was. Okay. And I was building, it was a very much burning passion that I had, because I've always taken pictures. I've always had a love of pictures. I used to have my original camera that I bought years and years ago was a film Canon film camera, and I just loved taking pictures. And then it was stolen one day. Yeah, somebody actually stole my camera. So I'm
sorry.
I did.
I'm sorry. Your camera got stolen.
So it kind of waned for a little bit. Okay. And it was rekindled when digital started to come on the scene.
Right.
And I've got a digital camera as a gift. And so it kind of started from there.
So I always say that with purpose, there's always been breadcrumbs along the way. And I kind of feel like in that situation, that's what happened, right? Yeah. You can't run from it. And so Michelle and I got laid off at the same time. And I knew that Michelle was doing the photography thing. And it was right after we got laid off, like within a year or so, I was into my fitness journey then. And I was like...
That's when you got into it? Not at birth?
Not like at birth, coming out, working out. With baby weight.
Right?
But I was like really intense. I'm talking about like I went on my body fat then was 6%. Oof. Like it was unhealthy.
I'm jealous.
Yeah, exactly. Oh well, but it was unhealthy. But I went on this fitness journey, got like competition ready, and then I was like, Michelle, I want you to take pictures of me, right? And she was like, well, I'm working on my portfolio, so this will be a little bit different, so I'll do it, you know. And this was before you branded into specifically, because you went into wedding photography.
Initially, I was in weddings, yep.
And so she took amazing pictures of me. And
you remember that shoot?
Yes. And some of those pictures, one of those pictures became what is my Facebook personal profile now. The black dress it's that picture. Yes, it is from there.
Oh, wow.
She took amazing photography. And I was like, wow, like she really has a gift and an eye for pictures. And kept in touch with Michelle, followed her on Instagram, saw how she branched into wedding photography specifically, and then kind of started to see the evolution into you going into branding. And fast forward to pandemic, I was like, I'm gonna start my own business. I always wanted to start my own fitness line, clothes line, right? Yeah. And so I was like, I'm gonna do it. So I called Michelle because I was like, I had no idea what the heck I was doing. So I called Michelle and I was like, Michelle, I want you to do a branding photography session for me because it's that simple. And Michelle was like,
I didn't do all of that.
She didn't laugh out loud, but I know what was going on inside. No. I know what she was going on. Michelle, tell us what was going on when I called you and said that.
Well, you booked a call with me. I was very excited to hear about your venture and what you were doing. So we get on the call and
no answers.
I started to ask you a couple questions. And
I had no answers. I had no direction.
After our conversation, I said, well, you know, like, who's your target audience? What's your message? What, you know? So
what are you trying to do, Harli? And I had, and I was just like, I don't know, like, can't you just take pictures of me? And she was like, no, it's not that simple.
No.
Yeah.
And so Michelle was the reason why I went back and I was like, well, dang. Like, and I started thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it. And while I thought going into the area of having my own clothing line, but that wasn't what I was called to do. And as I started thinking about that idea, I started honing in on my core values. Yeah. And once I honed in on my core values with the help of my business manager, some personal growth things that I was doing, I honed in on my core values and I realized I want to do something that represents those core values every day. So whatever entrepreneurship journey I'm about to embark on, it needs to incorporate those core values. Mm-hmm. And as I thought about it, I was like, I love stories. I love hearing where people have come from. I love having conversations with them. I love knowing what their journey looks like. Yeah. And I also because I was on my own purpose journey, I wanted to know where they were on that journey. And I was like, I'm going to start a podcast. So fast forward to me starting a podcast, going on that journey. So I called Michelle. You know, that was like 2 years ago. Called Michelle and I said, Michelle, I want you to do a birthday shoot. And she was like, okay. And so she asked me those questions again. And this time I was ready.
Yay.
I had the answers. I knew who my core audience was. I knew what I was going to do with the pictures. I knew what the purpose of the pictures were going to be. I knew like I had the answers, but it took years from that original conversation for me to get to where I am. And that's because Michelle initially asked me those questions. Mm-hmm. So thank you.
You're welcome. I'm so glad to see you on this beautiful journey that you're on.
Thank you. And I brought Michelle along. Michelle is my own personal photographer, by the way. She does take my family pictures. She makes us look like we love each other in the pictures. No, I'm just kidding. And then I want to pivot a little bit to my sister. My mother has always desired to want one of us to be in the medical field. It was not going to be me. Okay? It was not. And I've always seen my sister as someone who was just like, my gosh, she's just so, what's the word I'm looking for? Fierce. Like, the stuff that she was doing, the way she was standing up for herself, even arguing with my mother, was things that I would never do. Oh, wow. I would never do it. The way she stands up for what she wants to do, the way it's not arguing. My sister has a way of like talking to you and make you feel this little, but like being real nicey about it. You know what I'm saying?
I'm waiting for her to say nicely.
She was, at some point, she's going to say something positive about me. But I always admired that about her. And she's always been just hard with the truth. She's like, y'all doing what now? Okay. And there's been many moments when my sister has been the bigger person in the family and said what needed to be said that nobody wanted to say.
But God.
But Jesus. And I've always admired that about her. And so when she made the decision I kind of always felt like it was going to be in the cards for you. But when you made the decision to pursue medical, I was just kind of like, well, she's not going to fail. And I know her journey, and she makes it look so seamless. She was here in Atlanta getting her PhD. She was studying so hard. And she was like, oh my gosh, I studied so hard. I don't know if I'm going to pass. And I'm sitting here like, what are you talking about? She was making grades so high that the teacher had to grade on a curve.
What? Gabby.
And I don't think I've ever really told you how much I look up to you, even though you are the baby. But I don't think I've ever told you that. So this is me publicly speaking that.
This is this is 5-minute lashes. Like they're about to come off.
Like, did you just say 5-minute lashes?
My mom would always tell me, because she was in the medical field and she had a stethoscope, I always wanted to play with it. So anytime she brought it home, she'll be like, it wouldn't be in her bag because I would steal it and go play with my baby dolls or do whatever. But I remember always telling her, I remember age 4, I'm gonna be a doctor. Like I just knew, like I would see babies and I would just be like, I'm going to be a baby doctor. I already knew. Didn't really know the education for it.
Right.
But I was like, yeah, that's what I want to do. And I remember there was a teacher. I took ESOL. I took ESOL for like 5 years because my older sisters, when we came from Canada, they spoke English, they could read. I could not. So I was in ESOL, and I remember a teacher, because ESOL in Miami was predominantly Spanish. I spoke French, so she couldn't translate or help me.
Okay.
And I remember the teacher saying, well, you're stupid, because I couldn't keep up with the kids, and it stuck with me for so long that I was just like, well, I don't know if I can be a doctor because I'm not as smart as. And that stuck with me until eventually I just said, I'm just going to go for it. And I said, okay, God, I'm going to apply. And if it's not meant to be, don't let me get in. And I was like, okay, God, I got in. So, you gonna help me out, right?
Exactly. What do I do now?
Yes. And I think with the passion and just determination, I knew that, I knew it took me longer to catch things. So when some of my friends would start studying, 2 days before, I would start a week before, which kind of sucked because I didn't party. I didn't, come hang out because I'm like, I need to own this. And the program is intense. And when you look in the program, there aren't many minorities. Harli was there at graduation. I was the only person of color that graduated on time. Everybody else still graduating, but some were delayed, but not on time. Some dropped out, some failed out. And I don't know, I just feel like I got to do it for my people. Like,
wow.
I came from an HBCU, and they just really didn't know, where's Bethune-Cookman, or where is that? They had their Gators, their Penn State, and they're like, oh, Cookman. Where is that? And I'm a Florida girl, I'm a Miami girl, I like pink, I like loud colors, I wear heels in Atlanta. Everybody else was wearing flip-flops, and here I am with my heels, like Harli, clicking and clacking. And they're like, hi, I'm your doctor. And they're like, are you?
Listen.
So I don't know, prayer, lots of prayer, and somehow not believing what people, told me about myself, but I just said, okay, if I say I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it. And I told myself, whatever you do, don't ever fail yourself. Even if the outcome is not what you want, you tried, so therefore you didn't fail.
Very good.
So, ladies, I want you to say a little bit, tell the listeners a little bit about your business and what you do. I just kind of went into it. But Michelle, tell us about what you do in your business.
So I'm Michelle, and my business is Michelle Davina Photography. I'm a branding photographer, initially starting out as a wedding photographer, and I still love weddings, but I love branding so much as well. And I service entrepreneurs, creatives, corporate professionals, small business owners, really helping them to tell their story, really helping them to stand out. Because we all have a story. We all are brands, whether we want to believe that or not. And so how do we want to tell that story? How do we want to stand out and really be just our real self? A lot of times people feel like they have to be so perfect and just so, exact. But in this day and age, we're very much imperfect. And that's okay, because it's our uniqueness that makes us all so very special, and telling that story is what I really enjoy doing. So that's what I do.
Tell her to photography. Yes, I love it. Doctor?
So the name of my business is Road to Wellness Family Chiropractic. I think my mother knew something I didn't, because she called me Rhode, R-H-O-D-E, no S.
Like Rhode Island.
Yes, like Rhodes Scholar. I like to tell them, think smart.
Oh, okay.
And I have a chiropractic in Orlando, Florida. What sets my practice apart is we offer mobile, and we offer a brick and mortar. So started off mobile, getting out of someone else's, and grew more into a brick and mortar. I would say majority of my practice is pediatrics, prenatal, and sports.
You talked about, not listening to the scenario of people telling you that you weren't going to be good enough, or the teacher calling you, stupid or whatever. Why is it so important for manifestation as you are an entrepreneur?
I think the first year that I did a vision board, I had a friend, Kim, a group of girls are like, we're going to do a vision board. I had never done a vision board before, but I would journal. I would write, I want this house and this dog and that car. I would just write it down. But she was like, let's do a vision board. And knowing myself now, I'm visual. Clearly, I work with my hands. Medical is visual. So I think seeing it every day, and as soon as I wake up, I have my I am affirmations like right here. Like I wrote them all down on my dresser. And I have a vision board in the office. I have a vision board at home. I have stuff that I wrote on the mirrors, like in my personal bathroom. But it's just every day you walk out and when you leave the door, you're going to have everyone telling you what you're not. And it was easy for me to remember the child who remembered that. So I started pouring into myself what I am. Whether someone told me that or not, I wanted to make sure that I always told myself. So whether it's saying the affirmations or setting a goal, seeing it for me became more real, like more obtainable, because I could see what that looked like. People think it's silly. I wanted Yorkies. Like it was always my dream dog. I wanted this particular car. I wanted it to have this particular color. I wanted illuminated star. Like I wanted all these things. And I took a picture of that car and that color and I just put it up until, Lord, thank you, Jesus, I could afford to buy that car and that color and those dogs. But it's all of those things just kept me in my why, kept me motivated. And I just kept remembering the feeling that I felt when I was saying, I want these things. And then when I finally got them, what that felt like. So from that moment on, every year I did a vision board. I went to the Olympics as one of their doctors. I was still a student when I put it on my vision board, and we watched the game and I was like, next Olympics, I'm gonna be there. Typically that doesn't happen. Like I was too young coming out the game. I didn't have enough experience, but it happened. Like I got the call, I called them, I was crying, I was freaking out. I was like, they picked me, I'm going to the Olympics and I'm gonna be one of their doctors. And so I believe in that so much that now it's like, I gotta do it.
And I would just say, just to add to that, as far as you only have one life, okay? So you want to make the best of it while you are still on this planet. And as your sister mentioned, how there's going to be people that tell you what you can't do all the time. I never really, for myself, I never really looked or paid a lot of attention to what people said about what I could not do. I've always, and I think that comes from my mom. She's born and raised Harlem, New Yorker, and raising 4 kids. She really instilled in us a sense of independence and of self-worth. And so I really think for myself, I want to live the best life that I possibly can in doing good, number one. And having reminders to tell me that just really, I guess, solidifies me as a person whole of what I can do in this world. And I just feel like, as far as really just trying to make those positive steps in my life, making sure that I'm living in such a way that's purposeful and meaningful, impactful, I surround myself with people that are like-minded as well. So that really helps me. And then, when I may tend to get down, I do a lot of reading, especially, and I know this might sound cliche, but the scriptures. I would refer, because we have Bible characters that we can relate to in those scriptures that have gone through so much adversity and so many different things. And so those are the kinds of things that really help me to stay focused and help in my entrepreneurship.
You mentioned surrounding yourself with the right individuals, right? So as we know, when you walking on that journey to purpose and you're in entrepreneurship, it matters who's around you. It matters who's coming along with you on this journey. It matters the people that you're surrounding yourself with, right? What does that community, that support system look like for each of you?
Well, for me, when I started the journey into photography, I did as much research as I could because I wanted to try to connect with others in that field, of course. And I this was way before the internet was really, I mean, you have the social media stuff.
Yes.
The internet was on.
Right.
We had the internet, but I'm just saying.
Yes.
I had to Google, I would even Google like photographers, like female photographers that I see their work and I admire, that I would want to connect with. And to this day, I still have relationships with those photographers that I've connected to, that I've Googled or researched or whatever. Joining, maybe some different organizations. I'm a part of an organization here in Atlanta called PPA. They're a global organization for photographers. And then just different groups. Like Facebook has a plethora of, different groups that you can join. But just really making personal connections with those in the photography community. And when I was in the wedding industry, which I still am, but just even the vendors, the professional vendors, like your wedding planners and your florists, and your designers. So connecting with those, going to those different types of groups and being a part of the community, and as well as my family and just close friends that may be somewhat in an entrepreneurial, journey, but not necessarily in the photography space, but also connecting with them and just, having them in my circle as well.
I have to say my girls, my girl squad, but a lot of them see me a lot of times, as an entrepreneur, sometimes you get overwhelmed. And whether that's school, they just always understood. And whenever I would get overwhelmed, they would say, encourage me. Or if I would, fade to black a little bit.
Fade to black.
Because I'm studying, they'll be like, girl, we know. So I would feel bad because I'm like, oh my God, I missed another baby shower. I missed a girls' trip. And they'll be like, girl, it's not the time for that. Like and when when I'm able to come back, it's like I didn't miss a beat, or they just send me scriptures. When I had gotten certain jobs, or they would just, send me flowers, or just encouraging words, or just even the support of just reposting something from my business page or just referring someone. It's powerful when it's like, okay, I believe in me, but surrounding people, they start to see my heart. And I think that spills over. Your friends that I call it trauma bonding, the friends that you went through that way. Like, you remember we were studying for that test. And yes, but that was real.
And
like
Vienna
39-cent cheeseburger day because we couldn't afford nothing. Like, it's real, but it's like they're there for you. And even in that entrepreneurial spirit, as you shift, because it's the same group, we kind of understand what we're trying to do. You have questions, and we don't know. No one in my family, is an entrepreneur. So I want to start a business. I don't know nothing. So it's tapping into that person and being like, yo, who did you use for taxes? What did you write on this form? Yeah. Where did you find that information? And them just being great friends that they would not gatekeep, and they would share that information openly with me. It just meant a lot, and just Harli is mom. Her nickname is Mama. A lot of y'all don't know that.
Listen, the listeners don't need to know all that.
They're in the bubble. They're
They
in
really
the bubble.
don't. Okay.
But Harli, and just she's always had this ability, whether I was in middle school, high school, whatever. Whenever I'm having a freak out moment, it's something just about her. I don't say it's the mom in her. It's just something about her, because Harli at first, believe it or not, didn't want any kids.
What?
Yes, honey. She was like, me and Stanley, we gonna live life. And now she has more. Like, look at God. God was like, okay.
Clearly, it was not in the cards for me.
But she's such a nurturer in that moment. Even when she has her own freakouts, like, I'll be like, oh my God, girl, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And she's like, and that's okay. And she's like, and breathe and own it. And just like her voice in that moment, you're like, yeah. And so I would tap into that. And, afterwards I just would hang up the phone, and, one of my best friends, Chiana, she'll be like, I'm gonna give you a day to have a pity party. But tomorrow,
it's on.
Getting back.
Yeah.
It's on.
Get on your Zoom. So just that circle of friends and family and support, and social media sometimes, because I might just post something and just
somebody
the
commenting.
love, it's just like, wow, they do see me. They do. This is not in vain.
Right.
So those are beautiful moments that kind of just carry through.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate hearing that, because I often feel that I don't keep it. I'm like, the house is on fire. What did I do? You know, I don't feel that way. But I think that even that's a learned trait for me that I can actually attribute to my 9 to 5. Being in the HR space, you can't be the one that panics.
Right, yeah.
You have to be the one that's calm because you have to think about what's the solution here. And sometimes it's 5 seconds that you get, you know. And so I think that's something that I had the opportunity to hone in on and sharpen through the skills that I've learned being in the corporate space, right? But I wouldn't. No, the real Harli is like full on having is a breakdown moment. Absolutely. I actually remember a time when the kids were very young and Gabby lived in Atlanta, and she told me to go ahead and have my Charlotte moment. So Charlotte from Sex and the City, she's a mom, right? And in Sex and the City 2, she goes into the pantry, the closet, she closes the door, and she has a all-out meltdown moment.
Wow.
And I was just like, okay. Went into a closet, closed the door, had a moment.
You can hear the moment.
Whatever. And then I was able to dust myself off and keep going. But to know that my community supports my meltdowns means a lot. And you need that, especially when you're in an entrepreneur journey. You need that person who's going to remind you it's okay to have that meltdown. And then you, like your best friend says, you get up, you dust yourself off, and you keep moving. Yeah. So, ladies, we have come to our wild card question segment. Look. Oh my gosh, please
wild
don't.
Card, scary.
I know.
No, it's not. It is not scary. Okay. Just think about the amazing wise words that you're about to drop on somebody that's listening who needs it. Okay? So think about that.
That's my thinking phase.
Change it.
You're
It's like, really? That's the thinking phase? I know you. Okay.
You want to go first, Gabby?
Pick the card. Do not look at it. Hand it to me. Yeah. See? I knew you were coming. I knew. I can see you coming a mile away.
Is it only 4?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Really, Michelle?
Oh, okay.
Okay. Ha! Like I said, the card picks you. You don't pick it.
Ooh. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't say anything.
There's always one.
Goodness.
Ha!
That looked like a long question.
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
All right. Michelle. You ready?
Okay. Yeah. I guess.
Okay. The Avengers.
What?
Don't worry about it. Just listen to the question. The Avengers have recruited you to join their team. Okay, you know who Avengers are? Superheroes?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. What is the superpower you possess that will change the world for the better? And explain why.
Oh, I'm glad that's not me.
Oh my goodness. And I need to answer that right now,
yes,
right?
Michelle.
So the superpower that I have that would make the world better, you say?
Don't overthink it.
Okay.
It's not that hard.
I would say humility.
Boom.
And the reason why is because it takes a lot. People think that, oh, you let people walk over you, or you're too, shy or whatever. Modesty is a very deep quality.
See how she just leaned into that right now? Tell me.
And I'm going to tell you why. Because, and this comes from the spiritual side of me, from what I have studied. Our Heavenly Father, believe it or not, is humble. And because His children, He has put here on the earth, imagine Him allowing us to get to know Him as His creator, as our creator. And it really touches me because when I think about Him and all that He's done for mankind, it moves me because he has shown humility in his acts of kindness toward us. So who am I not to display that quality? The scriptures say that we are created in his image, so we have the ability to be humble. And so to me, being a humble person, if everybody was humble, just imagine how the world would be, you know? And so I find that that's the quality, or that's the superpower that I would bring to everybody, is display the characteristics and quality of being humble. Because I've heard this saying, it's like, abilities without humilities, it's no good. But if you have humility, even if you don't have abilities, that's an asset. So that's what I would say.
Y'all just went to church and y'all didn't even know.
No, that was good. That was good.
Yeah.
And I have to say that you operate in humility. When you said that, when it came out of your mouth, I was like, drop the mic. Don't drop it. But because that's who you are. If I looked at the picture of a person in the dictionary next to humility, I would say
Thank you, Harli.
You've always been
I appreciate that.
That peaceful, humble presence in the room. It really does. Because I know sometimes you just want to go in, Michelle, and it's okay if you do.
But
you didn't deny it, though.
Well, you're a stronger person, you know, if you can develop humility. I mean, we live in a world where everybody's so impatient, everybody's so rude, everybody, you know, it's all about self-absorbing, you know, or just almost narcissistic almost. But it's just, you know, humility is what I think would help tremendously. So that's my thing.
That was good.
Thank you. Your turn. No
pressure.
So I have a confession to make.
Uh-oh.
It didn't matter what question you were going to select because I already have your question.
Ooh.
You better be glad I mic'd. Humility.
Look at that. You didn't even know you were going to be Exhibit A.
Oh, my goodness. Okay.
No.
Did you know?
I know, girl. No, I didn't.
Oh, okay, because you was like, I know.
But I know what you're feeling right now. It's a good thing y'all sisters.
Right. Come on, girl.
Okay.
You know I'm watching your kids tonight, right?
Oh. Listen, they're your niece and your nephews.
So cute.
Remember that.
Yes.
But I've had the amazing opportunity to watch you grow into. This is supposed to be for
Don't
you,
do it.
not
Don't
me.
do it.
Right.
Don't look at me. Don't you start that. You stronger than this.
Okay.
Don't do it. You ain't no chump.
Okay. Wow, she's gonna call me a chump
Let's
on
go.
the podcast. Yeah,
Let's
that,
go.
insiders. That's not okay.
Don't come for me, insider.
Don't
Go
come.
ahead.
Don't come for her. So I've had an opportunity to watch you grow. I have the honor to call you my sister. That's an honor. And I've seen your journey. And even from a distance, when you thought I wasn't watching, I was watching. And for you to be where you are today, was there a moment when you were just like, I can't do this?
Prior to October 14th, 2019, the answer would have been yes. Real fast, yes.
And the reason for that is
I got sick. I
almost lost my sister.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I got sick in 2019, unexplained, and I didn't tell my family at first. And I remember when I first called my sisters and I said, don't tell mom and dad, because I knew my parents were in another country and I knew that they would freak out. But I just kept getting sicker. Like no matter, I went to the hospital like 3 times and I was literally I couldn't get out the bed. Like I couldn't roll over. So that's, life had life. Life was lifing prior to that, but nothing hit me harder than that. And I remember I called Lily, our other sister, and I told her, I said, listen, if I die, this is where my will is at. I just kind of just told her where to find it. And I don't remember the exact date. I just remember the 14th I started getting sick, and I had called my best friend. And that was a Sunday. But I told her on a Tuesday I was going to bed. And I remember I said, okay, God, I'm not waking up tomorrow. I already know. And in my head, as I went to bed, I just thought about everything I wanted to do that I just didn't get to do. And people kept telling me, okay, go back to the hospital, go back to the doctors. They want to do a spinal tap. They want to do all of this. And I'm a doctor too. Like, I can think too, but I just was so physically tired. Not just mentally tired, but physically I couldn't think. And I was like, anything happens to me, I just want to be home. I want to be home with my dogs. Like, I would just want to be comfortable, because they weren't giving me answers. They're just running up a bill. And Orlando's small, but they were like, hey, this specialty doctor is only here every 2 weeks. I'm like, you want me to sit in the hospital for 2 weeks? At least let me be home, if something's going to happen. So I remember that Tuesday. And I said, okay, I'm going to die tonight. Lily knows where to find my stuff. And I was like, dang, I didn't even get to have kids. Like, I wanted to open up my own practice. And I was just going through the things that I always wanted to do. Like, I guess, because, you make a big list, but in my core in that moment, I was like, I really would have loved to see what my life would have been like had I done X, Y, Z. And I don't know the time. I just knew that I woke up. It was like 4 or 5 in the morning, and I was in like a puddle, like a full body puddle of sweat. It was gross. But I remember saying, I'm alive. And I wasn't like physically able to move. Like, I remember I had someone at the time, so he was helping me like go take a shower, roll over, like change clothes, and he was still sleeping. So I was waiting for him to wake up. Like, I literally couldn't move until he was like, all right, I'm gonna help you. And I sat in the bed and waiting for him, just in a puddle, and I said, okay, if I made it through last night, I'm trying not to cuss, I was like, I can make it through any effing thing life throws at me. It might not feel like it in that moment, but I literally felt like I was at the door of death. And I had made peace with it. So yes, sometimes past 2019, there have been things that have been difficult, but I always measure it back to that moment. I think a big switch in my head just happened. I remember as I started to get stronger and healthier, without the help of going back to the doctor and I started my brain, like, okay, what am I putting into my body? How am I moving? How am I, taking taking charge. And I was like, I want to open up a practice. Like, that was the first thing. I worked for someone else and I was comfortable. I was like, it's a guaranteed paycheck. Yeah, it's benefits. We're good here. But I had always said before that I wanted to have my own. So I started getting stronger, getting healthier, went back to work. And I think I went back to work like on December 6th. So from October 14th to December 6th, I was home. And, God was good. I'm not foolish with my money. So I literally paid every bill on time. I didn't miss a beat because I had saved up, luckily. And like December 12th, I gave him, I said, this is my 1 month's notice. I'm being kind, but I'm out. And COVID happened. I already gave this man my notice. So I was like, I have to follow it through. I remember I FaceTime Harli. I said, I'm going to these banks and asking, for a business loan. Everybody's denying me because everything is shut down. And I said, it's not the hardest thing I had to face. And I said, I'm going to sponsor myself. I'm going to bank on me. I started like an Amazon list.
Okay.
And I sent it out to all my friends. And I said, listen, I have supported y'all every baby shower, every wedding, bachelorette, kids selling popcorn. Like, I'm there for you. Be here for me. And I text everyone. I said, even if you buy me some Post-its, a pack of pen, I was like, just support my business. And they did. They showed out. And you still have to do some things, but I watch YouTube videos. I found the space. I learned how to put wood floors. I learned how to change. And I literally was like, okay, I can't afford the contractor because I'm not getting this big business loan. So I did it. Like, I was like, I will learn how to lay down floors. I will learn how to do light fixtures. I couldn't afford a front desk person, and it's still COVID. No one's really working. I will learn to do front desk. I'm watching YouTube videos, still working for someone, and learning how to do everything, but I always compare everything to that time, to that day. And that's just it. So sometimes, Harli's, I've always kind of been blunt, but from then on, when people come to me and I guess they're expecting like, oh my God, it's okay. I'm like, suck it up. Let's go. Because I was always there, but now I've seen, and I always feel the gratitude of the fact that I'm still here. So that would be it. So I might have moments where I may complain, but I'm a let's go, let's do it. Like, I don't care. I don't care to hear you complain. I don't care how hard it is. Just do it.
I really appreciate that. And the fact that you had a measure, you know what I mean? Your story of when you almost died, everything else is measured against that.
That will always be the wall. That's the wall.
I just want to say this real quickly before we go to the last question, but I actually remember at that time telling my kids, her niece and nephews, like, because it was around the holiday season.
Oh, yeah.
And we had actually made plans for the three of us to spend the holidays together. That holiday season was the three sisters were supposed to be together. And I was like, well, I know Gabby's sick and she won't be able to make it. My other sister came. So I remember on the Alexa, we FaceTime Gabby, and the kids were shocked at the way she looked.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, that's Auntie Gabby? And it became real for them at that moment. So the fact that she's here now, kicking and screaming and being a fierce woman that she is,
that is so
we are so grateful. So thank you for fighting. Thank you for fighting.
I had some reasons why.
I know.
Right. Yeah. So to close it out, ladies, my last question is, what is next for you in this journey of entrepreneurship, right? You've kind of pivoted, shifted into branding. What does that look like, you taking that to the next level?
Well, for me, yes, branding is still shaping out and everything, but I'm going to be adding some additional services to my photography and video being one of them. So I think that, it's inevitable. I mean, do you know, I was researching, and I don't know if it's for us on average, but 3.2 billion images are shared every day. Every day. And 720,000 hours of video every day. That's a lot that we consume,
But that's how we connect.
Yeah,
that's how we bond,
exactly.
right? like my sister and I are not in the same city.
Yeah.
So naturally what we're going to do is to connect, to bond, to engage, to socialize. We're going to share pictures. We're going to share videos.
But it just speaks to how much that is used. And that's only in, you know, our devices.
Yeah.
You know, walking around, driving somewhere, you see imagery all the time. So it's so important. And it's like you said, it's how we connect. It's how we communicate. It's how we live now. So I see my business, and not just being here in Atlanta locally. I travel. So I'm available for travel if people are interested in booking me.
Well, for the videography part, I might have a mentor for you.
Okay. Okay. But as far as my business, don't worry, Daryl. Don't worry, honey.
I hope this wasn't your interview. He learned a lot about you.
Okay. But there's enough for everyone. But anyway, I just see my photography business going beyond Atlanta and really offering some additional services.
And for you, Dr. Rode?
Oh, man. I'm all about breaking generational curses and making smart financial moves. Yeah. So I want to actually get sprinter buses and do mobile sprinter buses, do like more corporate wellness with those, and then grow the practice. So I want to, like, Road to Wellness incorporates acupuncture, IV, massage, physical therapy, chiropractic, everything that's holistic. So I really want to focus on growing and nurturing my baby to the point where I can have it almost on autopilot.
Yeah.
And then your girl can step back and hopefully be a mother and a wife and be like, let me just go in and check on the office, you know, see some patients, but then I can be at every soccer game, you know, do the bath time situation and then, you know, just put them down by 8 so me and hubby can do our situation, you know. Come on now. PG-13. PG-13. Mom, don't listen to that.
Yeah, Mom. Sorry, Mom.
Right.
I'm not sorry. Oh, Mom, no. You know, she's the number one.
Right.
Look,
you're grown.
But thank you so much, ladies, for just really finishing off this series on such an amazing note. I hope you enjoyed this segment, this portion of our entrepreneurship purpose journey, and stay tuned because we have lots more things apparently coming through the pipeline. So I'm really thankful for you all to come on that journey with us. So thank you. I hope you enjoyed our show today. Hit the subscribe button and share this pod episode with your family, friends, and girlfriends. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Inside the Bubble HG. Let's keep the conversation going. Drop us a heart emoji, engage with us. We would love to hear from you. Season 2 is now available on your podcast streaming platforms, and full episode videos are now available on YouTube. For access to our YouTube channel, please find the link below in the show notes. And remember what I always say, there's purpose in your story.